So today I've got something very special for you for an unbox and first impressions. Nintendo were nice enough to send me a Switch 2 bundle. This includes the new Pro Controller for the Switch 2, the Switch 2 itself with Mario Kart World, as well as the new webcam for game chat and video calls with your friends. So let's get it all unboxed and give a first impressions of the quality, build and feel of these new console accessories and the console itself. First up, let's take a look at the new Switch 2 Pro Controller, which I'm super excited for. Let's get it out the box. So the first thing we'll see is our manual and information pamphlet, which we'll put to one side for now. We also, looks like we get a USB-A to USB-C charge and play cable. And finally, the controller itself. Let's get it out of its packaging here. So the button layout on the Switch 2 Pro Controller should be pretty familiar. We've got our plus and minus buttons, our home button, as well as our screenshot button. And there's the new camera share button there, the C, which we'll check out a bit later. Then we've got our D-pad, the analog sticks, and these analog sticks feel really nice and smooth. I don't know if it's just because it's a new controller out the box, but this definitely feels nice to the thumbs. On the top, we've got our short throw trigger and shoulder button. And then on the back, we've got these extra paddle buttons that we can use, as well as the Nintendo logo. On the bottom of the controller, we have the headphone input for game chat. If we take a look at the top of the controller, we have a small button here. If we press and hold this, it goes into pairing mode, and this will be our pairing indicator, as well as the lights for what player we're playing as, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it indicates which part of the screen we should be looking at if we're playing couch co-op or multiplayer games. And we've got our USB-C charge there, and I'd imagine that little dot there, as I've not set it up yet, is our power indicator. So it will tell us how our battery's doing in our controller. If it needs to go on charge, I imagine it changes color, but we'll find that out later. I do like the two-tone color. We've got the black and we've got the like off-white-ish on the analog sticks underneath the rubber grip part, and then along the top we've got the off-white-ish for the accent of the triggers and the top bar. The texture is not a two-tone, it is a solid feel all the way across. This is just like a partition line, but there's no difference in feel and the material between the two sections here. But with all that said, it is a nice premium feeling official Nintendo product. Can't really complain there. Next up, we're going to take a quick look at the new Switch 2 camera, which we can use to chat with friends like they're in the same room. It's quite an interesting idea, and I can see where it would be beneficial. So a quick example for me would be if I was playing something with my dad, we could play with the cameras on and see each other like we were in the same room, even though we are across town. But anyway, let's get it out of the box and take a look. So straight out of the box again, we get the Nintendo Switch 2 camera manual, if we need to use that to get it set up. Up next, we got a USB-C to USB-C connector cable. I imagine that connects the camera to the Switch for use, but we'll find that out a little bit later. And then up last, we got the camera itself, which is actually a nice dinky little thing. It looks a bit smaller than it seemed to look on the trailers. And yes, we got no connected cable, so that cable must be for this. And there's on the bottom the USB-C underneath the back end, and a tidying clip here for the cable to attach to, so it's not flopping about freely. It will nicely go down the back of the stem. And we have a Switch 2 stamp on the base plate and a nice rubbered bottom with all the Nintendo branding and information. So while fiddling with it, I noticed the head actually moves, so you can do fine adjustments up and down. I think that is all it does. It's on a board and looks like the cutout is only for forwards and backwards movement. Obviously we'd put it down and adjust side to side like that, and then do your height. So if it's a children's, you go down. If it's an adult, you'd aim it up a bit more. But that's quite a cool, tidy little well-made camera though. I'm looking forward to seeing how it is when you're actually using it for the game chat, and yeah, if it actually does make you really feel like you're more so in the same room when you're not, and making games more enjoyable and having a laugh and seeing those expressions. I think that could be quite cool. And up last, we got the console itself, which includes Mario Kart World. I'll try not to expose my Mario Kart key to everybody. I'll cut it out of the video if I do. And yeah, let's take a look and get this out of the box. Okay, so that was actually a box inside a box. This is the main box. I'll get this one open now. And there we go. So here we have the two brand new Joy-Con, and then we have the console itself laid on the top. I can imagine the docking station is underneath somewhere. So let's get it all out and take a look. So out of that tiny box, we've got so many pieces. Let's take a look at the docking station first. I'm quite intrigued at this new docking station. Obviously, this is the part that will connect to our TV. And there is where the Switch slides into and connects to the USB-C dock in the bottom. Just have a look through the side there. It's a nice smooth plastic and a ridged line, so it guides itself into position. And then if we flip the dock over, we want to pull from the top down, and these ones are kind of hinged on the bottom here, these two pins. Inside we'll see our HDMI, our USB-C and our Ethernet, if that's how we want to connect. Once we're connected up, we put the two pins back in the back, just like that. It will clamshell over and pop closed, and that is it. Those cables will then be fed through this little recess in the back plate, so it's all nice and tidy inside the back. On the actual back side, we have two USB-A connectors, which is nice to see. And talking about the connections on the back, we do actually get supplied in the box with a HDMI cable, so I don't have to go digging through my drawers for one of those. And here we have our power brick, which will just be the USB-C, which we should be supplied with just there. Another USB-C that goes into there and straight into the back of our dock to power it. We also are supplied with this handy device, which connects the two JoyCons in together to make a full controller. I really do like the design of these. And here we have the JoyCons themselves, which are color-coded, and you guys should think they will go on one side. So let's get those out. Yeah, so it looks like blue will go on the left with the minus button, and the red will go on the right with the plus button. They feel really good. They've got a nice bit of weight to them. They feel actually really well made and solid, and they do have the new vibration in them, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. HD Rumble 2 or whatever it's called. So what I'm really intrigued by with these is the new way they connect, which is by a magnet, I believe. So let's just lower that in there. And oh god, that's quite strong. That just snapped right in place. That took me by surprise a little bit. There we go. And if we look on the back, there's this little push tab. We can push in like that, and it pops out, and then we can pull it the rest of the way. That is a really tight magnet. Let's get both of these attached. Oh my god, that snaps in real good. Look at that. And it's a bit of a bigger size as well, these new Joy-Con 2s. Oh, we got micro switches in the shoulder buttons on these. But that is not all regarding the Joy-Cons. We've also got the new bumpers. So if you didn't have a second controller or Pro controller, you can take the Joy-Cons off separately, which would make them a bit more of a substantial feel in your hand, and pass one to a friend, and you can play some couch multiplayer. So let's get the blue one on first, and I think what we got to do is put the bottom on first. You'll see actually there's a recess there. Obviously it won't go on this way because this plate here is in the way. So where the magnetic part is and your two buttons here and the power connector, you want that to sit inside nice and snug. I think you put the bottom on first, and then it should snap over. There we go. Now these buttons are a bit more pronounced on the top, so you can actually press those like that and then play your multiplayer games. To get it off, we just put our fingernail under there and it should just pop off. Of course, as well, we've got our adjustable wrist strap as well. So if we're doing a flinging about with motion sensing, we're not going to chuck it at our TV or something like that. Safety first. Oh, I almost forgot. These little plates here are actually the feet for the mouse. These are actually the mouse attachments as well. So I'll put this on and see how it feels. Okay, that feels very alien, but it brings up a mouse cursor on the Switch and works straight away as soon as you start using the mouse function. It works though. That is kind of cool. Be interested to see what kind of games will work and incorporate this in the future. Imagine you could get some like RTS games or something like that, but it's just added a bunch more functionality to the Switch. So now, without further ado and all my waffling, let's get the Switch 2 console out itself. It's got a bigger screen and it feels a bit more chunkier. Maybe a little bit more weightier. We've got our USB on the bottom there. We've got some exhaust fans on the sides where you connect our Joy-Cons, and it's very reflective. I'd probably get an anti-glare screen protector for that. I don't know if there's any available at the moment, as it is day of release as of the making of this video. On the back we've got our Switch 2 logo, as well as a new design for the kickstand, which should just pop out like that, and it's adjustable. It's got a nice stiff hinge on it. Let's take a look a bit closer to how that sits. So let's pop the stand out and sit it on the bench. It's quite stiff. That's a really well made solid stand as well, and it sits very nicely. That's a much better design than we had previously. We can also adjust it down so you can go further back and yeah, get a nice position, and that's super secure and safe at that angle. We have our game cart, so we pop that out, insert our game cart, put that back in. Along next we have a headphone input, and then next we have our USB-C, which will be for our camera input or other devices. We have a ventilation here for our internals. We have a little blanking button there, which I'm 90% sure maybe that's a pairing button. We've got a volume up and down, and then our power button itself. So let's attach our JoyCons and see how this feels, the snap. Nice. Let's get the blue one on. Oh, that is a very positive snap. That definitely feels a bit more substantial in the hand, a much better feeling device. It feels quite solid and hefty, which to me is a good thing. So what I'm going to do now is set this up, get my account logged in, get my key in for my game. I will tell you after the process what it was like, if it was fairly hassle-free and similar to what we would expect, and we'll finish up. The screen is also a 10-point touch screen as well, so we can do the usual and go through the setup process by pressing the buttons. So this is totally my fault. I forgot to put my Switch 1 on charge to do the transfer before I set this up while I was on the school run earlier, so it's totally dead. I've got to put it on charge for half an hour or so it will come to life. But they both got to be plugged in and close together to transfer your data of your profile and things to the Switch 2. While we're waiting though, I'll go over the screen a little bit more. The handheld mode screen is a very nice LCD, as I've mentioned, and it will do 1080p and up to 120 Hz on the actual handheld mode. If you want to go up to 4K and 120, or I think it's 4K or up to 120, it won't do both. You'll need to be in-docked and go into a TV that supports 4K and high refresh rates. I'm not sure if we'll get too much gaming in 4K today on a monitor in dock mode, as I've made a little mistake and I'm running out of time here. So I will probably get a little bit of footage in handheld mode like this with the camera and see what this image quality looks like with my eyes. Obviously it will look better to me than it does to you on footage, but it's a nice 7.9 inch LCD anyway. I've only heard good things so far from other people that have already got set up past me. So, oh, one other thing I did notice as well with the camera, it has a privacy window. So if you ring it round, just ring on the front, ring it round, you can open and close. So if you're worried or you don't want to be game sharing by accident, you just close your camera off, and that's your privacy window. And we're in. It didn't take too long actually, about 5-10 minutes to transfer all the save data from the Switch 1 to Switch 2, and we are downloading now Mario Kart World, and we can see the UI, which is very similar to the Switch 1, but it is very snappy. It's really quick. Go through, see some of my games. It's showing all of my games that I've played or purchased on my Switch 1. So I don't know how many of these are going to work day one. I wouldn't mind trying Doom, actually. I don't know if Bethesda will do an update for that, but yeah, we've got loads of games that are in here. It'll be interesting in a future video to test some of these and see what works, what doesn't work. But let me know in the comments below. The screen is very nice. It's a very, very good LCD screen. I can definitely say that much. And I think we can get upgrades for stuff like Kirby. I know you can buy it separate. I think it's out soon, the Kirby Switch 2 edition. If we go in the store, you should be able to see upgrades for certain games, some supported games. I think Mario Odyssey is getting an upgrade. Some of them are free, some of them are like $9.99 or something like that. But to get these games running at a smoother frame rate and higher resolution and things is just going to be great, because while I loved playing them before, I've really wanted more power, more grunt from my machine. And for how thin this thing is, and it's ray trace capable out of the box with this custom NVIDIA chipset that they've made for the Switch 2, I'm looking forward to it. It's something like, I think it's Ampere using the same architecture as the 30 series RTX cards, just miniaturized, which is quite frankly really impressive. And like I said earlier, I won't do any comparisons or anything like that with any other handhelds in this video. This will just be the unboxing and first impressions. I'm very impressed so far in the hands. I've not played anything yet, as you can see it's downloading. So the next video will be probably gameplay. I have got Trace, who's also bought a Switch 2, so I get some multiplayer gameplay and game share footage with Trace as soon as we can. But if you have any ideas on what to cover for the Switch 2, anything you'd like to see, any certain games, or a comparison, I did actually pick up Cyberpunk So that will be very interesting to see what it looks like in comparison, and performance that you get, the battery life, things like that with the Switch 2. Being how thin this is quite weighty though, I will say again, it's got a bit of weight to it. The size I like, it's bigger, but I've got big hands. I've got huge mitts, so this is really nice in my hands. But again, it's a personal preference. You might like it smaller if you've got small hands. Obviously, I do like as well the more stealth look of the actual console and the JoyCons, just with a little bit of colour accent. It's a much nicer, stealthier look, which I prefer, but again, personal preference. You might not like it, but I imagine there'll be options down the road. They always do different colours and things, don't they? So yeah, that's probably going to come, isn't it? But yeah, do let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If there's anything at all you want to see or you're curious on, I'll try and answer you in the comment section, or bundle it up in a video, in a future video. I'll try and hammer out as much as I can for you guys, gameplay and just tech stuff as well, comparisons. First one though, like I said, just a opening of the box and first impressions, and I am impressed out the gate. We've got 3 minutes left on Mario Kart World's download. Again, massive thank you though to Nintendo for sending me out this sample and this bundle. It's more than what I expected, and to be honest, I didn't expect anything at all, but it was offered and I said yes, and it came. I was extremely bamboozled this morning when the parcel arrived that you weren't coming, and it did. I was like, yeah, well, for me, little old me, and it turned up. So I am extremely grateful to Nintendo and everybody else for the opportunity. Yeah, so don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you want to know more about the Nintendo Switch on my channel. From me, most of all, thank you for watching, and I'll see you peeps next time. When this is downloaded, I'll get you some gameplay.